Hey y'all, Stritzmore back here again. And life is unfair. You know, this is probably a phrase that you've heard for, a pretty long period of your life. You've all probably heard this plenty of times, life is unfair, life is not fair. I mean, this is part of life. It's what life is, the way life goes, da da da. And I've been thinking about this phrase recently, man. You know, some time ago, months ago, I told an individual, I told them, uh, I looked at the person, I said, you're not gonna get everything you want in life. Life is unfair. And it's honestly just the truth. It's a tough, but it's a true reality of life itself. We live as human beings desiring what we want, when we want it, how we want it, the way we want it, at a certain time frame. We want it like no one else wants it. But we have to comprehend that it's simply put, it's not guaranteed. You know, uh, really what this is much more reality. A reality shock. A coming to terms with reality type of moment. It's just something that you have to accept and something that you need to hear and something that you really need to acknowledge because you can't go walking around in life just thinking that everything is peaches and cream and rainbows and unicorns and lollipops and sugar. Um, and the reason why I say is just because this is not life is nothing like that. Life is filled with hardship. Life is filled with difficulty. Life is filled with trials. Life is filled with things that you don't want to deal with. Things you want to deal with, things you don't want to deal with, things that you want to enjoy, things that you don't want to enjoy. Life, death, this is what life is, you know, and just recently thinking about just life itself, my life, other people's lives, it's just simply put, this is reality. Life is not, it's not fair, you know. And my main advice for you is just, continue to push forward, even when things don't go your way. And obviously you have to have some discernment, you have to have some understanding between maturity and immaturity. Certain things in life, simply put, you just may not get immediately. And that's just reality and that's just the truth. There are certain things you're gonna want, but you may not necessarily need them. And that's another important distinction. It's an essential distinction to make, which is that, there's just certain things that are a need and certain things that are a want. And what I'm referring to, y'all, is like, even with something that you're working hard towards, right? And you don't get it, it is unfair. But at the end of the day, it's part of life. Who knows what that experience may be preparing you for? And that's something that I've always had to really grasp myself is that um, even though I may be working just as hard as other people, or I may be doing this or doing more than this person, and stuff still doesn't work out for me, I have to understand and have to comprehend that maybe this is part of something that I don't know yet. Maybe this is, and I'm a religious guy. Maybe this is God's plan. This is Him working behind the scenes. Something I don't understand. And some of y'all may not necessarily be believers in God, or you know, uh, may not, be a spiritual. Some of y'all just, strictly believe in universe and how the universe works. And honestly, even if you don't, identify in that way spiritually, you have to comprehend. Sometimes, this is the way your life is set up. Your life it works in different ways. Depending on the people the way you've been raised, where you are, who you are. And it's just reality. It's the truth, man. And part of life being unfair is also humility. You have to understand that certain experiences humble us, and certain experiences, we're essentially made to experience, due for or due to a bigger reason. You know, some of the things that I've experienced that I really hate, happened. They've made me better. They've humbled me, they've strengthened me. They've allowed me to have a much more realistic viewpoint, a better understanding of life. The decisions that I make, um, how I treat people, all these many things I've experienced, things that I didn't want to experience, and part of life being unfair, they've ultimately made me better. And so, y'all, Strength More back here again. I really hope that this, you know, this phrase is something that you better understand, or this phrase is something that has benefited you now. Maybe, this perspective or this way of looking at it, maybe it's helped you, and I hope it has. But Strength More back here again. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'll see you all later. Peace.